I'm joined now by Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York. Congressman, thank you for joining us. You were one of the very first Republicans to come out and condemn the president's social media post that had those images of the Obamas as apes. Here's what you said. The president's post is wrong and incredibly offensive, whether intentional or a mistake, and should be deleted immediately with an apology offered. Now, after you said that, they were still defending it, but it did get deleted eventually after about 12 hours. Should the president apologize?
Look, I think sometimes in our public discourse, it is best to just say, I'm sorry. I take the White House at their word that this was a mistake. But at the end of the day, given the history of our nation, given the insensitivities with some of the stereotypes that have long been promulgated to attack African Americans, I think it's imperative to recognize that and meet the moment. I think sometimes it's just best to say, I'm sorry, and do better. And I think, given the situation, I'm glad they deleted it. But that type of meme or, implication is wrong. And I think whoever created the original meme is an idiot. And really, that type of content should not exist in our country. I think everybody should recognize the history and really do better.
And what do you make of the fact that the White House, about the time you were condemning it, said that people like you were guilty of fake outrage, that this was fake outrage, this was just a simple internet meme? I mean, how do we go from there to, and then like many hours afterwards they delete it, but they don't sure as heck don't seem sorry about it in any way.
Look, I think Tim Scott obviously was one of the first people to speak out. I don't think he was engaged in fake outrage. I think the vast majority of Americans recognize that type of imagery and trying to, compare the first black president to a gorilla or a monkey is insensitive, it's offensive, it's racist. And I think most Americans recognize that. And it was rightly condemned. And as I said in my statement, whether it was intentional or a mistake, the fact is it's wrong, and we should all just be able to acknowledge that and move forward.
All right, you've been clear on that. Let me ask you about something else this week. We learned that President Trump told Chuck Schumer, the Senate leader, that he would be willing to unfreeze $16 billion in funding for a major infrastructure project in New York and New Jersey if the president, if Schumer were willing to endorse the idea of renaming Penn Station, and by the way, Dulles Airport, after Donald Trump. How is that okay?
So a few things here. Number one, this is a critical infrastructure project in the Northeast corridor. It's also critical for my district, representing Rockland County, which is west of Hudson. We do not have a one-seat ride into Manhattan by train, and so this project is critical towards that. I have been fully in support of it. It's a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure project, thousands upon thousands of jobs in my district and across the region reliant on it. I have been against freezing the funds. But how did we get here? Chuck Schumer decided last fall to shut the government down for 43 days. And as a result, this critical infrastructure project was frozen during that shutdown, in which the entirety of the federal government, was depleted of funds. I know there have been numerous conversations between the president and Senator Schumer to try and resolve this. Chuck Schumer again shut the government down last week. Ultimately, this is a negotiation between the two of them that I think can get done. I recall back when I was in New York politics, Andrew Cuomo negotiated the renaming of the Tappan Zee Bridge after his father and the renaming of the Triborough Bridge after his former father-in-law, RFK.
Yeah.
This is not new. Renaming
I know, but if I can,
is not a new concept.
But if I can say,
let me just finish, John.
Okay, but I mean, he's holding the money hostage for having these things named after him. I mean, this is not like part of a let's honor somebody. He wants it named after himself, and he's saying he'll unfreeze the money if they'll do it.
John, at the end of the day, to me, I really could care less what the name of a building is, a critical infrastructure project is. I care that it gets done. And ultimately, from my vantage point, work it out. These guys have been known each other for roughly 50 years. This goes back a long time. From my vantage point, we never should have got here, which is part of the reason why Chuck Schumer never should have shut the government down. And these funds never would have been frozen to begin with. So let's get the situation resolved so we can actually get people back to work. I really don't give a hoot what a building is called.
A judge on Friday temporarily stopped the president from freezing the funds, saying this was obviously money that was appropriated by Congress. Anyway, before you go, you had an interesting op-ed in the New York Times about immigration, saying that not only do we need security on the border, we need and reforms to the way ICE is operating. We need a legal pathway forward for people that are here illegally. Tell me why this is important, and if you've gotten any traction on this.
Look, this is an issue that I've been focused on for years. For 40 years, we have not solved our immigration crisis. The American people were rightly outraged by what happened under the Biden administration, where you had over 10.5 million migrants cross our border, most of them illegally. Porous southern border needed to be shut down. President Trump did that. The fact is that we have had 9 straight months of net zero illegal border crossings. You've had 675,000 people deported, 1.9 million people self-deport. Many of those folks, criminal aliens or people who have been involved in the criminal justice system. The American people overwhelmingly support that. But what they do believe, if you've been in this country, right or wrong, for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, your children and your grandchildren are American citizens. People don't want to see families broken apart. And so there's got to be a legal path forward, not a path to citizenship, but a legal path forward for people to come out of the shadows so that they can work legally, that they can pay their taxes, pay any back taxes owed, pay a fine, not collect government benefits, and not commit a crime. That is the basis of the Dignity Act, so that we can actually start to solve a crisis that has been in effect for 40 years. We have over 25 million people in this country who are undocumented. You're not rounding them all up and kicking them out. It's not realistic. Yep. So how do you deal with this in a way that is both compassionate but tough? And I guarantee you, 10 out of 10 would take the deal to forego citizenship to have a legal path forward. And we have a broad bipartisan coalition that has come together behind that. There's over 30 co-sponsors, Republicans and Democrats. And in my opinion, that is a key component of actually fixing this problem. It is not amnesty. It is not just letting people stay in this country. The fact is they would forego citizenship. They would not get the right to vote.
All right,
they would, however,
Lawler,
have a legal path.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. It's an idea that Republicans and Democrats have supported for some time. We'll see if it goes anywhere. Thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.